A robot dog patrols a quiet field. A humanoid worker moves through a factory line, tireless, precise. Above a city, 10,000 drones rise together like a single living organism. This isn't a sci-fi movie. It's happening right now in China. While the West debates the ethics of autonomous weapons, China is already building, deploying, scaling. Not one machine, not one program, but an entire army without a human pulse. Robot dogs climbing mountains alongside soldiers. Humanoids flooding factory floors by the thousands. Submarines hunting the deep with no crew aboard. Drone carriers launching swarms from 16 tons of steel in the sky. 5 branches. One machine. One nation racing ahead while the rest of the world watches, debates, and waits. This is China's secret robot army. And it starts on the ground, with something that never gets tired, never asks questions, and never stops. Mechanical canines move across open fields and city streets, cameras mounted where eyes should be, legs built for terrain no wheel could survive. This is reality in China today. At the IDEX 2025 Defense Expo, Chinese firms stunned the world with machines like the Unitree Geo 1, agile robot dogs fitted with sensors and surveillance gear, weaving through crowded booths as if daring anyone to look away. These aren't toys. They're tools built to navigate rubble, scout danger, and carry equipment no human should have to. Then came the moment that made Washington pay attention. In mid-2024, footage surfaced of a Chinese robot dog operating with an automatic weapon mounted to its back during a military drill. US lawmakers didn't just take notice, they demanded a Pentagon report. Because while other nations were still debating whether this technology should exist, China had already put it in the field. And the ground war doesn't stop at flat terrain. Deep in China's mountain ranges, the PLA's 76th Group Army trains, alongside 4-legged robotic companions weighing 70 kilograms, machines that climb hills, cross rivers, and even mount ladders without breaking pace. CCTV footage shows them moving in step with soldiers, relaying reconnaissance, coordinating with aerial drones overhead. They don't tire, they don't hesitate, they don't need to rest. State media has a name for what's being built: the largest unmanned force on Earth, a future where robot dogs and drones may soon outnumber the humans commanding them. This isn't a side project or a defense showcase. It's the foundation of an entirely new kind of army, one that walks, climbs, and patrols without a single human heartbeat inside it. But 4 legs were only the beginning. While these machines mastered the ground, China was quietly building something that could stand up, walk into a factory, and replace the workforce itself. Picture a factory floor where the workers building robots are robots themselves. This is Shanghai, and this is Agibot, a company that has quietly produced over 960 humanoid machines by late 2024, racing toward 1,000 units before the year even closes. While the rest of the world argues about AI ethics in committee rooms, China is filling warehouses with mechanical bodies that walk, lift, and work. These humanoids aren't experimental prototypes locked behind glass. They're deployed right now in manufacturing plants, hospitals, and customer service counters, standing shoulder to shoulder with the very people they're built to assist or eventually replace. Footage from Agibot's facilities shows human hands assembling robotic limbs beside robotic arms doing the same job, machines building machines in an endless mechanical loop. Some of these humanoids are already shelving inventory, moving through warehouses with a precision no fatigue can dull. Compare this to the West, and the gap becomes obvious. Companies like Tesla with its Optimus program are still refining, still testing, still catching up. China's advantage was never about having smarter software. It's about scale, speed, and the will to deploy before anyone else dares to. While American engineers debate safety protocols, Chinese factories are already running lines where the workforce doesn't sleep, doesn't strike, and doesn't stop. For now, these machines are labeled civilian: factory hands, hospital assistants, retail helpers. But rapid development like this rarely stays confined to one purpose. A humanoid that can lift, navigate, and problem-solve inside a hospital is not far from a humanoid that can do the same inside a security perimeter or a battlefield. The line between labor and defense has always been thinner than anyone admits. And these machines aren't staying behind factory walls. Because while humanoids were mastering labor indoors, an entirely different kind of robot was about to walk out into the open, straight into China's city streets. A robot in a police vest shakes hands with a startled pedestrian on a Shenzhen street, and the video spreads across the internet within hours. This isn't a stunt. It's the beginning of a new kind of law enforcement. Standing 1.38 meters tall, the PM-01, developed by Engine AI, responds to voice commands, greets the public, and even performs push-ups to prove its balance and control. City authorities aren't hiding their intentions. They see these machines as force multipliers, capable of monitoring crowds and boosting police presence around the clock without ever needing rest. But if a humanoid officer feels unsettling, wait until you see what's rolling beside it. Meet the RTG, a spherical security droid that looks like it escaped from a science fiction set and landed on Chinese pavement instead. Developed by Logan Tech, this ball-shaped machine rotates as it moves, scanning its surroundings while zooming alongside human officers. A video of it patrolling with police in Chengdu went viral in late 2024, and it isn't just for show. The RTG is built with facial recognition, and reports suggest it can deploy a mesh net to assist during pursuits. It isn't perfect. Netizens joked about its clumsy pace and wobbling balance, and critics call it more of a mobile camera than a true action-ready machine. But that criticism misses the bigger picture. The RTG isn't the finished product. It's the first rough draft of a future where robots patrol streets as casually as human officers do today. While other countries have experimented cautiously with wheeled robots kept at a careful distance from the public, China's humanoid patrolmen are already shaking hands, posing for photos, and walking city blocks in plain sight. This is a nation testing its machines in the open, in real time, on real people. But while the streets watch the robots, something far larger is moving where no one can see it at all. A shape glides silently through deep water with no crew, no lights, no human breath aboard. This is the UUV-300, an autonomous submersible stretching 11 to 12 meters long, built to carry sensors, tools, and communication systems on missions that could last for days without a single person on board. While Western navies move cautiously, debating the ethics of unmanned undersea warfare, China is already sending these machines into the depths, turning silence itself into a weapon. And this submarine isn't operating alone. Paired with an expanding fleet of unmanned surface vessels and aerial drone swarms, it becomes one piece of a much larger machine, a robotic navy built in layers, invisible until the moment it chooses to surface. But while the ocean hides its secrets below, the sky put on a show for the entire world to see. In September 2024, the lights over Shenzhen exploded into motion as more than 10,000 drones rose together in perfect synchronization, folding into shapes, pulsing like a single living organism. To the crowds below, it looked like art. But behind the spectacle was something far more calculated, a real-world test of coordination at a scale no other nation has attempted. Controlling that many machines in real time isn't simple choreography. It requires a communication network built for speed and precision. China has quietly constructed a 5G system capable of linking 10,000 drones simultaneously, with latency so low the swarm reacts as one. This wasn't a celebration. It was a demonstration, proof that the same system lighting up the night sky could just as easily coordinate scout drones feeding real-time data into a centralized command. Experts around the world are watching closely, because what unfolded over Shenzhen wasn't just a performance. It was a rehearsal disguised as a light show. And if China can already command 10,000 drones from the ground, imagine what happens when the sky itself becomes the launch pad. A 30-ton machine rolls forward with no driver inside, sensors scanning the terrain ahead, deciding its own path forward. This is the VT-5U, unveiled by state manufacturer Norinco at the Zhuhai Air Show, a fully unmanned combat vehicle built for autonomy from the ground up. China isn't stopping at new designs either. Older platforms like the Type 59 are being retrofitted into remote-controlled units, giving aging steel a second life as a driverless weapon. The VT-5U doesn't operate alone. It shares data with robotic teams and drones in real time, adapting to a battlefield where crewed vehicles have grown increasingly vulnerable. But if a driverless tank feels like the peak of this revolution, the sky had one more reveal waiting. In May 2025, China unveiled the Zhutian, a massive high-altitude drone carrier with a 25-meter wingspan and a 16-ton takeoff weight. This isn't just a drone, it's a flying hub, opening its bay doors mid-air to release waves of smaller coordinated drones like a hive taking flight, each one built for surveillance, communication, or specialized tasks. A single Zhutian could launch hundreds of these in one mission, reaching airspace other forces might hesitate to enter. Every piece of this puzzle, the ground vehicles, the flying carrier, the swarms beneath it, points to one strategy: speed, automation, total coordination. And when you compare this to the rest of the world, the gap becomes undeniable. The United States has tested robotic dogs and mule-like carriers. Russia has shown off unmanned ground vehicles that still struggle with navigation. South Korea and Israel have made progress in isolated pieces. But none of them have built what China has: a fully integrated system of systems where every machine talks to every other machine. Every branch of this army, land, factory, sea, and sky now answers to one single strategy. What looked like isolated demonstrations, a robot dog at an expo, a humanoid shaking hands, a light show over Shenzhen, was never disconnected at all. It was one machine, assembling itself in plain sight. While other nations debate, draft policy, and wait for consensus, China deploys, tests, scales. Every branch of this robot army, land, factory, street, sea, and sky now moves as a single coordinated force, built by a nation that stopped asking permission long ago. The future of war didn't arrive with a warning. It arrived quietly, one machine at a time, and it's already here.